Matt Fitzpatrick delivered more than just a tournament victory at the 2026 RBC Heritage. He delivered a moment that captured the essence of composure, resilience, and quiet confidence under pressure. On a day when the odds, the crowd, and the narrative all leaned against him, the Englishman let his golf, and a subtle gesture, do all the talking. From the very beginning of the playoff, the atmosphere at Harbour Town golf links was electric, but not necessarily in Fitzpatrick's favour. The crowd had a clear preference, and they made it known with loud, continuous chants of USA, rallying behind World No.1 Scottie Scheffler. It was an unusual scene for a regular PGA Tour event, more reminiscent of the charged environment typically reserved for international competitions like the Ryder Cup. Yet Fitzpatrick, calm and focused, never allowed the noise to rattle him. When the decisive moment arrived, he rose to the occasion in emphatic fashion. Facing a 13-foot birdie putt on the first playoff hole, Fitzpatrick showed nerves of steel. As the ball dropped into the cup, sealing his victory, there was no dramatic celebration, no roaring fist pump, no emotional outburst. Instead, he offered a simple, almost understated response. He pointed to his ear. It was a gesture that spoke volumes. In that single motion, Fitzpatrick acknowledged the crowd, answered their chants, and asserted his presence, all without uttering a word. The noise that had filled the course moments earlier faded into silence. It wasn't arrogance. It was poise. It was a reminder that performance, not volume, determines the outcome in golf. The moment quickly circulated online, with many praising the simplicity and effectiveness of his response. "Golf rules," read one popular caption, summing up what fans and analysts alike were thinking. There was no need for further explanation. Fitzpatrick had handled the situation with class, letting his game, and his demeanor, define the narrative. When questioned afterward about the crowd's behavior, particularly the patriotic chants at a non-Ryder Cup event, Fitzpatrick responded with a blend of humor and perspective. Smiling, he remarked that Americans are incredibly patriotic, even complimenting their enthusiasm. However, he couldn't resist adding a subtle jab, noting that their memories might be a bit short, referencing Europe's victory in the most recent Ryder Cup. It was a light-hearted comment, but it carried an edge that reflected his competitive mindset. Interestingly, Fitzpatrick had anticipated the crowd dynamic even before the final round began. He had acknowledged that fans would likely support Scheffler and stated he had no issue with it, as long as it didn't interfere during critical moments like his backswing. That distinction highlighted his respect for the game and its traditions. Golf has long been governed by etiquette, and while fan engagement has grown louder in recent years, players still expect a certain level of decorum. The final round itself had all the ingredients of a classic. Fitzpatrick entered the closing stretch in contention but faced adversity on the 72nd hole. After driving into a bunker on the right side of the fairway, he rushed his recovery shot and missed a lengthy putt for par, settling for a bogey. It was a moment that could have derailed his chances. Meanwhile, Scheffler capitalized on the opportunity, executing a clutch up and down to save par and finish at 17 under, forcing a playoff. With momentum seemingly on the American side and the crowd firmly behind him, the stage was set for a dramatic finish. But Fitzpatrick had other plans. On the playoff hole, he delivered under pressure with precision and control. His 264-yard drive found the fairway, setting up a crucial approach shot. From 204 yards out, he struck a 4-iron that landed softly and rolled to about 13 feet past the pin, setting up the very putt that would define the tournament. Scheffler, in contrast, came up short with his approach, leaving himself in a more difficult position. As Fitzpatrick calmly stepped up to his birdie attempt, the crowd quieted, sensing the significance of the moment. When the ball dropped, the silence was complete. That birdie not only secured the win but also symbolized his ability to thrive in hostile environments. His ear-pointing gesture afterward was not just a response to the crowd, it was a statement of self-belief and composure. The victory carried significant rewards. Fitzpatrick earned $3.6 million from the tournament's $20 million purse, marking his 4th PGA Tour title and his 13th professional win worldwide. It also continued a remarkable run of form, coming just weeks after his triumph at the Valspar Championship. 2 wins in 4 starts underscored his consistency and growing stature in the game. Yet beyond the statistics and prize money, it was his mentality that stood out most. Reflecting on the crowd and the intensity of the moment, Fitzpatrick described the experience as one of the most satisfying in golf. He likened it to winning an away game against a fierce rival, where the environment itself becomes an obstacle to overcome. Importantly, he clarified that his comments were not directed at Scheffler or any fellow competitors but at the atmosphere created by the fans. "There's no better feeling than coming out on top against that," he said. "It's just loud. Just loud." His remarks tapped into a broader conversation about crowd behavior in golf. In recent years, fan interactions have become more animated, sometimes crossing into territory that players and officials find concerning. The 2025 Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black, for example, drew criticism for overly aggressive chanting and required increased security measures. Prominent players like Rory McIlroy have voiced concerns about this trend, noting that while passionate support is part of sports, there is a line that should not be crossed. McIlroy pointed out that such behavior is becoming more common and warned against normalizing it. And what a moment it was! This victory also added another chapter to Fitzpatrick's impressive history at the RBC Heritage. Remarkably, it mirrored his 2023 triumph in several ways. That year, he also won in a playoff, defeating Jordan Spieth on the same 18th hole. Both victories came under similar circumstances: a high-pressure playoff, a crowd favoring his opponent, and Fitzpatrick delivering when it mattered most. His success at Harbour Town is no coincidence. The course demands precision, strategy, and patience, qualities that align perfectly with his playing style. Over time, he has developed a reputation as one of the most reliable closers on this layout. Looking back, the journey feels almost poetic. As a child, Fitzpatrick once asked his father whether Tiger Woods would be playing at Hilton Head, eager to watch his idol in action. Years later, he has not only followed in those footsteps but carved out his own legacy at the very same venue. With 2 RBC Heritage titles, both secured in playoffs, he joins an exclusive group of players who have demonstrated exceptional composure in high-stakes situations. His ability to deliver under pressure, particularly in front of challenging crowds, sets him apart. But perhaps what truly defines this victory is not just the birdie putt or the trophy, it's the way he handled everything around it. In a sport often defined by subtlety and tradition, Fitzpatrick's ear-pointing gesture will be remembered as a rare moment of expression that perfectly captured the situation. It was confident without being brash, assertive without being disrespectful. In the end, it encapsulated what golf is all about: rising above the noise, trusting your ability, and letting your performance speak for itself.